Hey guys, Brian Grossman here with Hunt the South with a quick product review of the Campark T180 trail camera. Now, full disclosure, Campark did send me this camera at no charge in exchange for a product review. And I told them the same thing I tell anybody else who reaches out to me with that kind of offer. I'll be glad to review it, but it's going to be 100% honest. I'm going to break down the good, the bad, and the ugly. So Campark was fine with that. They've done that before. They sent me a little action camera, a GoPro type camera of theirs to review. So check that out if that's something you're interested in. But I've been pretty impressed with their products. Fortunately for them, I don't have a whole lot negative to say about this little trail camera. I'll mention a few things here kind of at the end of this review, but for the most part, I've been really impressed with this little thing. As you can see, it's nice and compact, which I like. I run a lot of trail cameras on public land, so obviously the smaller and kind of lower profile, the better. Now, I'm sure one of the first things you're noticing is this crazy top here on it. It's a built-in solar panel, which is a really cool feature of this camera. It has two built-in lithium-ion batteries, and that solar panel keeps those batteries charged in there. It does accept, and I've put four regular alkaline AA batteries in here that serve kind of as backup. Should if it just took so many pictures and videos throughout the night that the internal batteries ran down, it would kick in on those AA's. But I've been running this thing for a month now, and those AA's are still showing 100% charge. So it hasn't had to rely on those. The solar panel and internal batteries have kept this thing going. So you could definitely save a good bit of money on batteries using this little camera. As far as some of the specs on it, this takes 36 megapixel photos. So it takes, nice big photos, up to 4K video. So that's a cool feature with audio. So it's video and audio up to 4K. I've been pretty impressed with the images and the video, and I'll show you some here as I'm talking so you can take a look at that and kind of see for yourself. As you'll notice, it has three different image sensors here, three sensors that give it a 120-degree kind of field of view. And so it captures those deer or whatever you're trying to capture, any kind of movement early, as soon as it's kind of getting into the frame of the picture. And so you don't get those, butt end of a deer as it passes by the camera and the camera didn't trigger in time. Campark advertises a 0.1 second trigger speed, so that's excellent. There's no way for me to test that, but it seems to do a good job of capturing deer and other things kind of as soon as they get into that sensor range. And as far as the sensor range, it has a 65-foot range on that, so that's not bad. It has either 26 or 36 infrared LED lights on it for the flash. That seems to do excellent as well. Again, I'll show you some night pictures here that I got from it. No complaints there, getting out and getting those deer kind of on the periphery of the sensors range. So just been a great little camera overall. Now, obviously the solar panel is a really cool feature of it. Another cool feature on this one, this is not a cellular camera, but you can connect to it with your phone. You can download an app that Campark has on your phone and connect to this camera via Bluetooth and then Wi-Fi. And when you've done that, you can change any of the settings on the camera, and you can view your pictures and videos that the camera is taking. So that's a really cool feature. First of all, I like setting the settings that way, because it's just a whole lot simpler than running through a menu on the little LCD screen. Honestly, I didn't even do that. I never even touched the settings, but obviously you can set it up. It's got a variety of buttons back here. But for me, your phone, the app was a much simpler way to do that. And again, you can view your images and your videos as well. So you can pull up. Had this camera out on a little food plot here on the property. I could pull right up with my little side-by-side and pull my phone out, check the camera, change settings, whatever I needed to do, and never had to crack this thing open. So I didn't have to worry about whether I turned it back on after I got done or whether I had put the SD card back in it. None of that stuff was an issue because I didn't have to touch the camera. So that's a pretty cool feature. Now I will say this, kind of one of the negatives about this, you kind of have to jump through a couple of hoops to get connected to this thing with Wi-Fi and be able to update the settings and view your images and your videos. And the way you do that is the Bluetooth, I guess, is always on this thing, always on standby. So you pull up, first thing you do is connect to it by Bluetooth, or you turn on your app and it'll tell you to connect by Bluetooth, and you press the button and do that. Once you're connected to this by Bluetooth, then you tell the camera to turn on its Wi-Fi, and then you have to go into your Wi-Fi, connect to this camera with your Wi-Fi, and then come back to the app and you can do whatever you need to do. Now, that sounds like a lot of work, and like I said, there is an extra step in there, but it's not that big of a deal. Once you've used your phone with the camera and it already recognizes it, then it's a pretty painless process. I can only assume, and again, I'm making an assumption here, but I'm guessing it uses less battery power and less resources for this camera to stay with the Bluetooth on standby than it would to stay with the Wi-Fi on standby. That's the only reason I can figure them having the two-step process there. Again, not that big of a deal, but it is something I wanted to make you aware of. One other thing, as far as while we're talking about kind of negatives, again, not a big issue, but this is the only trail camera I've ever owned that uses a micro SD card. Every camera I've ever had used a standard SD card. Not sure why they went with the micro on this one, but again, not that big of a deal. If you already have like a GoPro or action camera, then you probably already have some of those micro SD cards sitting around. And then of course you can get the adapter to where those plug into an SD card, and I have one, but I don't have it laying out here. So you can plug that into your laptop or your computer, or if you have one of the little card readers, you can plug it right in and use it just like any other SD card. So again, not that big of a deal, but a little bit, just left me scratching my head wondering why they went the micro SD card route. But yeah, overall, again, a month in, hasn't taken a ton of photos and videos yet because I don't have a lot of deer on my property right now. I haven't put out any kind of feed for them. But so far the pictures and the video quality's been good. The night pictures seem to do well. Everything about it, again, I haven't used any battery life on the backup batteries. So yeah, it's all been good. Now it comes with a kind of a permanent type mount if you want to mount this like on a fence post or something like that. Excuse me. To use it for security purposes, or if you just know you're going to mount it on, or if you know you're going to use it in a certain place on the property, I guess you could screw that onto a tree and be able to mount it, because it's got the threaded hole here on the back of it to mount that into. It has your standard kind of plastic loops on the back, and right here, if you want to secure this with padlocks or a Python cable, you can do that. Nice camouflage pattern to it. Again, compact, low profile, so it's kind of easy to hide, even with the big solar panel here on top of it. Oh, it also, of course, comes with your standard strap. Strap it to a tree, which is the way I did it. But yeah, I think that's about it. I would recommend this camera if you're looking for a non-cellular camera. The biggest thing, again, excuse me. The biggest thing about this that I'll say, I guess the biggest negative of all, is the price on this thing. Now, these retail for $199. They're on sale on Campark's website right now for $169, and I'll put a link to that in the show notes if you want to check it out and kind of dig into the full specs of this thing. But to me, that seems a little pricey for a non-cellular camera. If I was going to spend $169 on a trail camera, I'd probably go with a cellular camera. But there are certainly situations. A lot of the public lands that I hunt on, I cannot get a cell signal, so there's not a whole lot of sense in buying a cellular camera. In that case, it might make sense to pick up the Campark You'll definitely save some money on the batteries, so that can add up year after year. Those batteries aren't cheap, so it might make sense in the long run to spend 169 bucks on a camera like this. And like I said, everything's good, quality's good, and I've been impressed. It's only time will tell how it holds up. Whether the internal batteries and that solar panel keep functioning for years. We'll see. I may eventually do a follow-up on this, but so far so good. So if you got any questions, man, feel free to drop them in the comment section there, and I'll try to answer anything I can. Hopefully you'll take a second to hit the subscribe button and that little notification bell so you never miss another one of our videos. Guys, we got a lot more product reviews coming out. We're starting to get some products in to test out, and I'm looking forward to doing that and sharing that kind of stuff with you, as well as some hunts that's coming up here in a few weeks, and I'm definitely looking forward to getting out in the field and sharing some of that time with you guys as well. So guys, as always, hunt safe, shoot straight, and most importantly, hey, just enjoy your time out there in God's great outdoors.